Hello disc golfers, this is Matt Dollar, and I am back with the conclusion of the first round of the Minnesota Majestic. And in this video we'll be playing holes 15 through 22. When we last left off, we got Dutch Napier just killing the course at 12 under par. Mitch PRIVETTE, Matt Dollar, and John Drummond all sitting at 1 under par. And once again we are at the wonderful Blue Ribbon Pines on a beautiful day. Hole 15 measures in at 440 feet according to the sign, but I feel that it plays a little bit longer. And we have a little bit of a cross headwind here. Dutch throws a very nice shot. That's going to get into about 50 feet. Wow, Mitch's line right here is perfect. If not for that right to left crosswind that's pushing it down while it was holding that anhyzer, that one probably would have gotten to the basket. You really don't see a lot of people park this one, or at least I haven't seen a lot of people park it. You definitely need some serious power. John has some serious power, but he throws it just a little low, and he's going to come up short left. Looks like I get enough power on my defender, but it just turns a bit too much, and I'm right on the edge of the woods. So I guess I had the distance to get there this time. Yeah. And Dutch just keeps this show going with another amazing putt.
Let's go,
this
Dutch.
one outside of 50 feet. Actually, that one was just outside, or right around, the little flag that indicates the second circle, which is 66 feet. So huge putt from Dutch there. I have a little bit of a branch in my way, so I try to go under it, but the putt comes out on a good line and hits that branch, or those leaves, so I'm not going to get that one in.
Good, John.
Boom, John with the jumper from probably about 38 feet, knocks it in there. Now we got Mitch, who's just a hair closer than John. He's probably looking at a 35, 37 footer. And another jumper. This is seriously like a jump putting clinic. I tap out for my par and we move on to hole number 16, which is a very tough hole. The distance says, I believe, that it's under 350, but you have this very, very tight gap to hit. And then once you get out of this gap, if you get out of this gap, you have to hold straight with just a little right turn, and there is a creek with lots of tall grass short of the basket that's out of bounds. Whether there's water in the creek or not doesn't matter, because if you're inside the tall grass, you are out of bounds. So you see a lot more people go out of bounds on this one than you see put it inside the circle. I decided to go with a hyzer flip with my hatchet. It's a really aggressive play on this hole. A lot of guys will try to throw the forehand, but I was really just afraid the forehand, if I threw it really good, was going to end up in that OB. So I went with the aggressive shot, and it paid off here. And holy cow, if Dutch didn't finally miss a putt, it was outside the circle, but the way he's playing today, everyone just expects he's going to make everything, I guess. I'm able to get my birdie in there, and now Mitch, after getting a little sneaky off the tee, is going to have a shot at his birdie. Mitch has really bounced back nicely after the 6 that he took on the hole right before the driving range hole, so that was hole number 12, I believe, in this layout. And Dutch is going to tap in for par, and we'll move on to what I think is one of the signature, maybe the signature hole in the course. This hole is a really cool hole. I believe it lists it as about 345 feet, but I feel it plays a bit longer. And there is a lake just short of the basket. I go with a Lucid Escape here. And I'm telling you now, if I threw this hole 20 more times, I'm never going to throw it better than that. Just happened to read the wind correctly, and the disc just flew perfectly. I was really excited about that shot. So Dutch throws a beautiful line, but he goes with a mid-range here, and I feel like that's just basically reading off the sign. And like I said, the sign says 342 or 345 or whatever, but this hole plays like it's almost 400 feet. I mean, you shouldn't throw a mid-range on this one unless you have all kinds of power. So both John and Dutch went in the lake out of bounds, so they're at the drop zone. So Dutch has actually been perfect almost this entire round. This is the first little speed bump he's hit. But with as good as he's playing, you can expect Dutch is going to try to bounce back. So Mitch's drive played it a little safe and went a little too far straight into the wood line. You'll see that a lot on this hole because people don't really want to challenge the lake so much, and it's smart not to. So Mitch is going to get there with his 3. I'm going to tap out for a deuce, and the other 2 guys are going to take 4s. And our next hole is tidy. I go with the first run beat up Mace. And I almost hit that tree on the right side, but I do keep it in the fairway, and it straightens out down there to get me inside the circle. Mitch goes a little early, asks for it to get through, and it does. And that should get Mitch inside the circle also. This hole is extremely tight. It's only about 280 feet, but you have to go really straight and then have a little fade at the end. And if you kick early, left or right, it's trouble, especially if you kick left, like Dutch just did there. So Dutch is stuck in a tough spot. He's going to have to throw a forehand roller to try to get out, and he put it down on a great line. But as you can see, it caught something on the ground there, either the base of a tree or a root, and just kind of flipped it over. So now Dutch is inside the circle, but I'm not sure if he's even going to have a line to putt at it. I squeak my judge into the left side there for birdie, and now Dutch, like I said, Dutch has got an almost impossible line. He has to split all of those trees. So Dutch actually takes back-to-back bogeys here. Wow, it's pretty rough when a guy beats you by 10 strokes and you watch the video and you realize you got 4 strokes on him in 2 holes. It's just a testament to how great Dutch played this round. So here's another hole that I don't really believe the T sign. I believe it says it's about 320, 330 feet. But it definitely plays more like 360. I went with a fluid enforcer off the tee here. And it was really calm when we threw our tee shots here, so it did push a little further left than I expected. Everyone else has taken a very nice hyzer line. Seems they corrected off of my line. And we've got Dutch here to see if Dutch can bounce back after the the back-to-back bogeys rather. Oh, he's chasing aces here. Beautiful line from Dutch. That'll get him right back inside the circle putting for birdie. So I'm furthest out, but everyone's inside the circle. We got a little bit of headwind breeze for us. And that headwind is just enough to keep my judge in the air and over the rim. John puts his in there nicely. And here's Dutch to try and right the ship. Good putt from Dutch, and that'll get him back on the right track. Mitch trying to round out the star frame, and he does. So we've got 3 holes left, and this is one you want to get. There's only one tree in the middle of the fairway. You just want to miss to the right of it. Or you could throw your putter right into that tree like I've done the last 2 rounds I've played here. I think today, I might, during round 2 that is, I might go with an overhand on this hole. I parked it last year with a tomahawk, so I might do that again. So Mitch pulls his just a bit. John goes up the middle and hits that same tree as I did, the only one in the fairway. And Dutch goes just inside of that tree, but doesn't get any skip really, so it's going to put him in a tough spot. At least a tough spot for trying to get a birdie, that is. So I had a jump putt from my lie, was able to give it a run, but not quite put it in there. And now John, whose lie is not quite as good, is going to have to throw a forehand. But man, John threw that forehand putter up shot very good both times he was forced to do it.
Oh my God.
So Dutch has a little hyzer jump putt there, not able to put it in. And Mitch is our last chance for a birdie on this hole. Mitch heard a little something in the background. It was the group teeing off on the tee pad behind us. So this tee pad for this hole is shared with the tee pad for another hole. And someone, I don't know if they didn't like their shot or what, but they like hit their disc on metal, not like a basket, but like a T sign, and it made like a ping, and it was right in Mitch's shot. So we move on to my least favorite hole at Blue Ribbon Pines. Man, this is just one of the coolest greens you'll see in disc golf, but the hole itself just does not belong on this course. I mean, if you want to take some trees out of the fairway, it might be a better hole, but it's still just this weird short tweener par 4 with not a very clean line. And you have OB on the left of the wood line and the right of the wood line. I would really like to see them maybe move this tee pad further right into the woods and clear out a line to make a really cool par 3 where you're actually trying to throw it onto the rock green. But it is what it is, and there is a way to play it, and you kind of just have to take that line just outside of where I went off the tee. Oh boy, even on my second shot I thought I threw a good one here, and caught the phantom branch and it knocked me down to the right. So after that hot run of 4 2s in a row, I'm just going to have to hope to get up and down for a par here. This hole is a par 4. This is where Dutch's drive ended up. Dutch showed us how to play this hole correctly. He just threw the putter off the tee, and I'll go with the putter. Second shot, I believe. And skip it off a rock and get him up there for a putt. Mitch pulls his upshot just a bit to the right, but he also gets a little assistance from the rock, one of the rocks, and it knocks him up there. So I'm able to jump putt mine onto the top shelf to give me a easy par. We've got 3 guys putting for birdie. John is at the bottom of the rocks, and this is a little bit of a scary putt because if you airball, you go down deep, or down past it, and if you hit the cage, you're going to get that. So tough break for John, catches the roll back, and I believe it's going to be his turn again. It's never fun when you have a long putt from outside the circle and you almost make it. You throw a great putt, hit some metal, and catch a roll right back to you. Oh boy. Luckily John's didn't roll off of the rocks. It rolled between them, but then it stayed on the rock right there. So that could have been bad if it kept rolling. Mitch is able to convert his birdie, and it looks like Dutch will also have a chance. Dutch does convert his birdie, and John's going to have to tap in for a 5 here. And I will tap in for the 4. So despite not being a great hole, it did produce a pretty good scoring spread there. And we're going to move on to the last hole, hole number 22, the newly formed island hole. Well, I guess it's not technically an island. There is inbounds leading straight to the basket, so it's not an island, which also means, though, if you do what Mitch just did there and land your shot on the island and then kick off, you get to take your drop from where it went out of bounds. So, good break for Mitch, and Dutch just pures this one. So this hole says it's only 310 feet, another one where I'm pretty sure these signs are not accurate. I feel like I threw a 300-foot thumber there and I landed in the OB moat. So I'm going to have to take mine where it went out, and John is also going to fail to make it there. So the way this hole plays is anything short of the tall grass where John was standing there is in bounds, and then once you cross that, only this pathway that I'm standing on that leads you to the green is in bounds. There's a white OB line from the corners of the little island barrier there that leaves only a walkway in bounds. So it's not a true island hole. You do get to take it where it went out, like Mitch is doing here. And Mitch is able to save his 3 with a nice putt. I'll suffer a bogey on our last hole. And Dutch comes on strong again at the end. After those 2 bogeys, he bounces back and birdies 3 of the last 4 holes to put himself at 14 under for the round, which is a killer round out here. Unofficially rated 1065, and that'll put him in second place behind only Nate Sexton, who shot a 17 under, which was 1086 rated. And Mitch is going to come in at 6 under par with a 67. I'm going to shoot a 69, which is 4 under. Both those rounds were roller coasters, and John is going to shoot even par. So make sure to tune in to the Disc Golf Pro Tour page on YouTube to watch live coverage today and tomorrow. And thank you to Latitude 64 for their support and Carla Siewert for filming. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Live coverage going on today and tomorrow, so check that out on the Disc Golf Pro Tour YouTube page. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to Matt Dollar Disc Golf.